Hello and welcome back to my stream. I've been a little bit off schedule the last couple of weeks for a variety of reasons, but I'm back on schedule now. Let me pull up my chat screen here. And what I want to work on today, because it's kind of the default, uh, it's how I keep on top of things, is package source stuff. That's what I want to keep on top of now. Pull up my dashboard. So we've had some streams about where do I go? Had some streams about not Qmail recently, and we will be coming back to that. That's actually one of the motivations for the work today. Um, we've had a couple on IkiWiki, also motivated by not Qmail. But here we go, Stream Manager. But what we're working on today is sort of the underpinning of all of my Unix computing, which is package source, the Unix package manager for many platforms. It's originally for NetBSD, inspired and I think derived from FreeBSD ports, but this was in the 90s. So that lineage is still, you can still recognize the similarities, but they are quite diverged. And one of the ways that package source diverged is that it did the thing that you would expect NetBSD to do. So just as FreeBSD focused on um, running BSD Unix especially well on commodity PC hardware of the time, and NetBSD chose differently. NetBSD chose to preserve the BSD Unix tradition of being written in a way that made it run portably on any new hardware pretty easily. NetBSD invested more in that. Still ran very fine on PC commodity hardware, but more investment was placed in designing for portability and making sure that that could keep paying off when hardware changes, as it always does. So, package source did the same kind of thing a little bit later. The FreeBSD ports tree, like nearly every package manager, focuses on a single operating system. Package source originally did, but for a variety of reasons in the late 90s, early 2000s, added some kind of support for Solaris at the time, which, if you were so lucky as to administer that, then you know its package management was a bit deficient. And so it was nice to have an alternative that could be updated by humans and give you recent relevant software in some amount of time. And also, and I was involved in this part, shortly after that, we ported package source to the new Mac OS 10, the Unix operating system from Apple, that was exciting and different at the time. And the way that Solaris was initially done wasn't sort of a generic improvement in portability for package source, but it helped us understand that we should want that. And when Mac OS 10 came around, then we had a better idea. And so we invested in, of course, individual packages, because a lot of Unix software in 2000, 2001 did not have the slightest idea how to use the Apple toolchain, which was not the same as the GNU toolchain that everybody else had. The libraries were shaped differently, the object format was different. Um, there were just a lot of portability problems with individual packages, but also package source in 2000, 2001, that time frame, invested in infrastructure, in getting leverage so that we don't have to single-handedly fight those portability battles, package by package, platform by platform, but that we can get some leverage that increases the portability on average of everything that's in the package system, which seems like a really cool trick if you could figure it out, and we did. So we still have to do things package by package, platform by platform. That does happen, but not nearly as much as you think we might. And that's why we're able to support so many platforms and have so many packages building on them, Mac OS being one of the best ones. And that infrastructure is called the wrappers and build link. And we could go more into how that works. Um, as far as I know, at the time, it was certainly unique to package source. And by now, there may be other package systems that have adopted aspects of it, but it is it gives us the leverage to be a cross-platform package manager with the number of developers that we have to make the work tractable. So I got into package source because I was into NetBSD. That's how I learned Unix on a very old Mac, and then I decided that I wanted to contribute to the package manager because there's software I wanted to run, and I did not want to be manually installing it. So that's how I got involved. And then when Apple made a Unix operating system, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I can use the same package manager on both of them. So that's why it's foundational to kind of all my Unix based computing, as I was saying earlier. And that's why when I need to, when I notice that things that I manage are out of date or need updating or aren't working quite right, I treat package source as a candidate for the largest continuous integration project in existence. I don't know if it is. I'm sure there are things that nation states are doing that are bigger. But in terms of like an open source continuous integration project, the scope of package source is more than 20,000 pieces of software from all imaginable third parties, um, dozens of operating systems, although really there are a handful that get the most attention, but in principle, we want to be having a lot of packages on all of them. A variety of hardware architectures. That's more of a factor for NetBSD than for other platforms. But even like Mac is undergoing a transition from Intel to ARM. So that's a factor. And, you know, a few dozen active package source developers. So I think this is a candidate for one of the largest continuous integration projects that there is to try to get all these things building with each other and not conflicting with each other and on all these platforms and staying that way as things get updated, which they frequently do. And some of these things are relatively easy. They're good citizens. They understand their place, and they're easy to depend on and be depended on. Um, and others require some packaging effort. Qmail and not Qmail, chief among them, in my experience. So, point of me explaining this is that I try to, at all times, keep my package source work inventory low. I want to have all my packages updated that I'm a maintainer for, which is about 150 of them, something like that. And right now I have more than a few, so that's a red flag. I've gotten behind more than I like to get behind. I like to have Repology. There's an RSS feed from Repology. This is a very useful resource for package maintainers, but also for other people. But for package maintainers, I get myself an RSS feed of packages that I maintain with uh, when versions are behind other package systems. Then I get a notification, which is a strong, not foolproof, but strong indication that a new upstream version has been released. So, for example, this CircOS is a real one. I packaged this version a long time ago by request of a fellow NetBSD developer and friend. I haven't used it at all. I'm not sure if he still does, but I am the maintainer, and there is a new version, and I am partway through that update. It was just really hairy. So I have to come back to that one. This is the truth. Other package systems have updated to this version because that is the upstream version. This one, discount, is not the truth. The upstream released version is still in the 2.2 series, and the 3 version is not a release. So if I wanted to do something about this right now, it would probably be to report to Repology that this version comparison is spurious. I'm just not sure what they need to replace the rule with, because um, when the when 3.x becomes the official release version, it's not clear to me how it will be lettered. I was going to say numbered, but I think lettered is the distinguishing factor. The author is just going to say, now this is the version, and whatever the letter is at that time is going to be it. So I'm not sure what I would report here. I think I'm just going to have to tolerate this being in my output for a while until 3.x is the upstream version. This is a real one. Highlight, slightly new version. This is a real one. This is a real one. And I did do this one yesterday, so at some point that report will update and go away. So this is some inventory I want to pay down on today's stream, is to reduce the number of updates that I have pending as a maintainer that I need to do. And then another piece of inventory that I want to attend to, maybe first, actually, because it's more fundamental, is my build farm. I have a platform build farm, a number of QEMU virtual machines, and they all need maybe OS updates. I've done a few of those recently, but primarily package source updates, because package source current has just undergone the shift from OpenSSL 1 to OpenSSL 3, which is a major library version bump for the shared libraries. And when I didn't realize that had happened and I naively updated my laptop using a rolling replace, it got stuck because the package tools linked with OpenSSL 1. And then when I wanted to continue with my update, I didn't have package tools anymore because OpenSSL had been removed out from under it. So I found I was able to repair that by rebootstrapping the laptop and then removing package tools into place under the existing installation. Don't recommend that for regular users. I've used package source for a long time. But it did get me back to a working state on the laptop. And then before I updated some other platforms, I realized, there's a dependency ordering here that package rolling replace has not captured about the fact that the package tools themselves, kind of a bootstrap thing, the package tools themselves are using OpenSSL. So we can't exactly remove the OpenSSL while the package tools are still in place, but we can't install the new OpenSSL because it conflicts with a lot of the binary and manual pages names um, until the old one's deleted. And we can't do either of those things if we don't have package tools. So what I figured out to do in my local installation, and it's what I'm going to reenact here on several platforms as part of this update, I first rebuild a platform's libfetch and package install without OpenSSL temporarily in order to navigate this update. Then I can have package rolling replace take it from there. And then when that's all done, I can go back and re-add SSL to those tools. So I think that's where we're going to pick up. I think we need to navigate the rest of my build machines through this OpenSSL transition. And so for that, let's look at the virtual machines that I have. This is a tool that I've written in shell. It's a shell script that wraps QEMU and offers a number of subcommands: list, start, shell, stop. I may reorganize this interface at some point. I'm not sure I love it. But then there's these tuples of operating system, version, and architecture. And right now, in this early iteration of the tool, I still have to explicitly type all of those every time. But it would be really nice if it could infer, for instance, all of my Intel 64 and 32-bit machines are hosted on an Intel 64-bit machine. And all the other architectures are hosted on my fastest computer, which is an ARM64 Mac. And so it would be nice if it could infer that if I'm on AMD 64 and I leave off the architecture, that's what I want. Or if I leave off the version number, maybe it could figure out the most recent one is probably what I want. So that's something for another day. But for now, this is how I start my virtual machines. And so let's just start working our way down the list here. Just make that a lot smaller. Okay, so we're going to start Alpine 3, and we have to type this all out. Regrets. So that's today's assignment, is to update these virtual machines. And so this is the serial console up here, and over here is an SSH in effect. So here, excuse the beeping. I think yeah. So here we can just do a quick operating system update. No big deal. And I'm not sure what the state of package source is on Alpine. If I even got as far as, yeah, let's just take all the space and do that. Does it even have OpenSSL? It does. Okay, so then this is worth navigating, and I have rolling replace. Let's go full screen on package source, because that's what we're going to be doing now. That way I can have a side by side, and we can get another shell over here. Tab completion would also be real nice for this tool. That'll happen at some point. So naively, what you would do in a generic package source situation, and it nearly always works, is to get into package source, the top level, and say something like this. And it will figure out the least wasteful order to rebuild everything that needs rebuilding and omit everything that doesn't. But in the special case of OpenSSL, because it's part of the package tools, I discovered that naive approach does not work. So, example of the problem, let's look at how the package tools are linked. Oh, my package tools are not currently linked with OpenSSL. Okay, so on this platform, it may actually be easier. Let's just check about, is libfetch present? It is not. Okay, so this might be as simple as what I just said. So we'll go for a rebuild of Alpine there. And then I guess the next thing we can do is make another screen and go for Arch and just pop back and forth. So this one is Alpine. This one will be Arch. Yeah, see, I really want to have some completion for this. I don't want to have to know everything. Arch 0 because it's not, there's no versioning scheme. It's just latest. Oh, the NFS mount didn't work? That mean the network didn't work? So we can't always go in this way. That looks suspicious. Yeah, okay. So something renumbered a network interface here. That's our first job. If I don't run these machines often, then things change and gotta fix them. So let's go into Etsy, and do I have an ag? No, I gotta do a grep. And let's look for ENP0S. Okay. So this is ENP0S1 today, and apparently it used to be different. I'm not sure if that came out right because the terminal looks a little weird. Oh, yeah, it did not come out right. Okay, let's go again. Okay, that's back to being legit, and then here. That's fun. Okay, reboot, and hopefully this time it comes up networkly. So this is part of the fun of having a build farm. That worked a lot better, didn't it? And now I'll be able to do this. Yep. And this is how you update an Arch system. I would like to integrate into my scripts a generic way to say update this OS according to this OS's idea how to do that. I'm gonna write that down. Package build OS update. And also package VM inference tab complete. Those are things I have wanted so far today. They come up a lot. I probably want them again. So here we are updating Arch Linux. It's been a little while. Hopefully that's okay. Let's pop back to how Alpine is doing. It did not finish succeeding. Something about this path did not work. I'm just going to say don't do sudo right now. Do everything else. Sure, yeah, I like that PGP key a lot. I'm very sure that it's very good. Okay, lots of updating to do there. Okay, that is updated in some kind of way. Presumably, if I do it again, it still is. Okay, so it finished with whatever that is. Do I have package tools installed? Wow, okay, I do. And are they linked with? Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier. We have libSSL and libcrypto1. And that is not the version that we're gonna have when we make replace OpenSSL. So we got to do a couple quick things here. And that be, instead of doing a naive package rolling replace, we're gonna go in two places, I think. I'm not sure if it's as necessary here. Is anything depending on libfetch as a dynamic library? I don't know. I want to be on the safe side. So if we go to net libfetch and make show options, oops, didn't set up my make tools here yet. Wow, what is going on here? Is my NFS in the mount not working? Or has it been that long? Oh, wow. Okay, it's been that long. I have to regenerate this directory because it doesn't work this way anymore. I now think say make in here, and then my bin is populated with just these things. That probably works better. Okay, so cd net lib fetch, make show options. Still no? Let's try again. Type make, yeah. What? Why is this not working? Oh. Because also I reorganized my Etsy package. And that's going to be a thing. Yeah, it's not called this. It's called something else. Package, bin package build, bootstrap. It's called this. I really haven't been in this machine in a long time. So what I'm including now is going to be called that. And I need to symlink it into place. And that is LNS. Line 20 from over here. Package build shared into Etsy package. Now, yeah, okay, we're back to a functioning state. I have my make wrapper in place. My package source build configuration is in place. So this is our problem, our momentary problem. We need to build libfetch and the package tools themselves without this option for a moment and then come back and rebuild them. So for that, I would say this time we should get a different result. Yep, no OpenSSL. And so now I'm going to say replace clean for this one. This is a static library only, so we can easily do that. How's Alpine doing? It's crunching. Good. Okay. And now we pop into package tools, package install, and do the same thing. And when that's done, we can validate with LDD that the package tools are not currently linked with OpenSSL, and then we can go for a rolling replace. So this is building some dependencies for the package tools. The package tools have to be able to fetch. They have to be able to extract archives, generate archives, such as tarballs. That's all here. Okay, package tools are updated, and now we can see that there's no longer any linkage with libSSL, libcrypto, as we want. So in that case, I can pop over here and I guess I just want this. Interesting platform specific warning, but it'll keep working. Okay, so we have Arch over here. What's next after Arch? CentOS 7. I don't know if I even have a machine running. Oops. How to. Yeah. I think I threw that disk away at some point and didn't put it back because that's a really old CentOS. How about CentOS 8? Nope. How about CentOS 9? All right. That's a note. No CentOS 8 or 9. Had a network problem here as well. Hmm. Again, ENP0S1. I don't know what makes these numbers stable or not. I don't really care. It doesn't come up all that often. Just want to renumber it to match. Do I have an ag here? No. Rep LR ENP0S. Hmm. Hmm. How's that supposed to work? Did I copy something wrong? Right? Nowhere. Not stored here. What is that all about then? How about DHCP? Does that happen anywhere? How is networking supposed to work? This one. Let's ask. CentOS 9 DHCP. Nimcli D. Okay, there it is. Sysconfig network scripts. Something. Huh. Okay. And then what? Here's something. ENS3. That's why it's only partial of the partial map. So now it looks like it's called ENS1, I suppose. I don't know what it's supposed to be called. Strange. So this is all pretty old. Wait, how did I get that? NMTUI sent to us 7, but I have it. All right, I will. Because it's activated. We'll try again. So glamorous, this life. Running so many virtual machines. Nope, that didn't do it. So I don't know why that name was so partial. I think we just need to list it all explicitly. ENP0S1. E0. 0. I'm not trying to learn anything about CentOS here. I just want to have it work. Looks different this time. Okay, so whatever that was it. Alpine bombed out over here on OpenSSL itself. That's exciting. Let's just say we take that out. See if it helps. I'll have to figure that out at a different time. Okay, CentOS 9 has arrived. So we can get in and get that updated. Absolutely very okay. So on the left we have Alpine. Excuse me. On the left we have Arch Linux plowing through a package rolling replace. After we rebuilt the package tools without any OpenSSL linkage because of that bootstrap problem, we'll come back and rebuild them with OpenSSL when the update is done. On the right, we have CentOS 9 with its network connection repaired. Maybe I updated the host's QEMU in the meantime and that changed the numbering. I don't know. It used to be on the network and now it is again. So it can update the OS, and after that, we'll probably do the same thing with the package tools. And then in the other Tmux window, this is Alpine. It had some kind of a problem with an include that somebody should think about. Alpine in general challenges some portability assumptions of a lot of software. A GNU system, but it is a Linux. So somebody should fix that correctly. is not on my to-do list right now. If I had a smaller inventory of things to get caught up on, then something like OpenSSL not building on Alpine could be something I would take action about. But right now I'm way too behind. So if that helped fix it in my one build, I'm gonna leave it that way for now. I can probably afford with this host machine to keep going. Do I still have a Debian 9? I don't know. Let's see. I don't. A 10 and 11. Yes. So there's a Debian 11 and a 12. Get those updating. Bullseye on the left, bookworm on the right. Whoop, got a build problem. Arch. Okay. And it was in N curses W. This looks pretty involved. I'm going to try to omit N curses W from the build and see if I can get away with that for now. Woof. Another one here. Let's just try not doing that. No, that's it complaining about. Kernel version is not defined. Okay. It must be this way. If I read that right. Nope, I read that backwards. Boo. There's something else. Oh, blurg. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pause there for Alpine. because this is more than I wanted to learn about. Might be the same here. Not trying to fix every build problem that I find at the same time. That's looking good. Okay. Sure those come up. Wow, that's a lot of that's a lot of grep warnings. Mhm. So, if you just joined the stream, the situation is I have a build farm of many different virtual machines, mostly for package stores, but occasionally for specific builds of things like not Qmail. They're all kind of manually managed, but they all follow a pattern and they NFS share the package source tree and most of the configuration. Only a few operating specific things are defined separately. And so I have to manually update the operating systems from time to time, which is one of the things we're doing. And I have to update the installed packages from package source from time to time so that I can make sure the latest stuff works and continue developing what I'm working on. And usually that's not very interesting. And whenever something is broken, I will want to fix it, such as what we've seen so far in Alpine OpenSSL or Arch and Curses W. But right now, I'm just trying to navigate a big change that is a little tricky, which is that OpenSSL has released a new version, version 3, with a new major shared library version. And because the package tools for package source are linked with OpenSSL, that is not as straightforward as usual for an update. And so I just want to mainly navigate through that update. Um, all the machines that I'm building with so that I feel like my working tree is relatively current when I'm building on top of it. And also to make sure, because I don't exactly know what's in the new OpenSSL, I haven't followed closely, that software that I use or develop continues to build. That's my that's my higher priority right now. So if other stuff along the way doesn't work, I'm going to try to push it aside so that I can get through the OpenSSL update. Okay, looks like this is updated. That's our CentOS 9. Cool. And did I ever bootstrap a package source? I sure did. So then we're going to go through the same process here. And what's this look like? Nothing. Wow. Okay. Oh, wait. What? No, it seems fine. Now we have some stuff installed. Okay. So I want to go to netlib fetch. right, let's come again. Better. All right, this workaround did not work around. And then we need to add RE2C and Python 311 to the things to not rebuild today. And try again. Right. Better. So on CentOS, we're going to replace libfetch with a version that does not have SSL support. So that it won't be linked with nothing when we update OpenSSL. And then same thing for this. Before we do that, we have the problem? Yes. Okay, on with it. So we're waiting for CentOS's package tools to be free of OpenSSL so that we can update OpenSSL. Okay, and now it should be the case that we don't have that. So we can go for a naive update. Let's come back to our Debians, which are presumably all the way updated. Yep. If you go, yes, that's a nice big list of packages that need updating. Very good. Fun to watch The Matrix sometimes. When I'm programming, I don't like waiting this long. But this doesn't feel like programming. It's not really. It's kind of relaxing to have things mostly fly by and then just pop back and forth and see if anything got stuck. I guess while we're waiting, we can see OpenSSL 3 Alpine Linux. How do they do it? So I can't think about this right now, but I'll drop a link. There, when I'm ready to think about that someday, I can borrow from the Alpine packaging. Okay, and now, yep, can go for our Debian updates. Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. Compile, compile. You are watching The Matrix. So Debian has gotten into some package rolling replace. These are still crunching. Alpine, I guess I'll think about it if I had to. Ugh. Wasn't trying to do a lot of that today. You can probably hear I'm a little gunky. Stuff's going around. Alright. So here is the package source makefile for OpenSSL and Linux things. So this seems possibly related to our situation, don't it? Sporadic test failure, that's all. What about things like ellipse, glibc? No. New. Does our build look like this? Got a prefix, got a libdir, got an OpenSSL dir, got a shared, no dev crypto eng, not explicitly in their list. Enable KTLS, probably not portable. A whole bunch of no's, no zlib. We say threads, they don't say threads. So they omit a bunch of things that we don't from the build. No exec stack. Seems weirdly specific to this one package, which is not usually how we want to do things. So then what else is going on there? Are there any patches? Yeah, this wasn't any problem we were having. So that's the whole build. Then it needs Linux headers. Is that a package that we don't have? Yeah, I want to look around Alpine Linux packages. That's not what this is. But this is Linux headers. Is that a package? It is. Okay, so maybe that's the only problem. In that case, I want to look at APK. Maybe like that. If that proves to be correct. What was it? Add. So maybe that's enough to make OpenSSL build. Let's see. These are still moving. Good. So that probably addresses why things weren't working in the OpenSSL build on Alpine, is that it was looking for Linux headers. I assumed this was a libc versus, GNU libc versus muscle libc thing, but I think now it's the presence of a separate headers package that you have to remember to install. And I bet that does the trick. And that's based on looking at their build. Like, how do they build their own package of OpenSSL 3? You need Perl to do it, and you need Linux headers present to do it. So, I bet that helps. That's probably the main thing. This might be relevant for make test, but beyond that, I think we're going to be okay. Going to preemptively get rid of those. I don't think there's going to be any changes that we need to make. So no problems with Alpine yet. Just having an interesting thought here. I have to tap around here because I can't see all my builds, and even if I could see all my builds, I have to watch for where the action stops. And not just slows down a lot, but stops and comes back to the shell prompt. And so I'm wondering, like, what's the automation here that would help me? The thing I want to know is when a build stops and gets me back to a shell prompt. Tell me. So I wonder if there's a way I could, because package source is always through a make process, and then we have all these very elaborate make include files. If I could put something in there whenever it exits, maybe. Actually, I feel like I do have a place to put this. It's here. Package build make. Let's look at what that does. Yes, this is a wrapper right here. And that lets me type the word make and not think about if it should be the bmake that package source bootstrapped and installed, or a system make by that name, whether that's a BSD or a GNU one. I just type make, and if it's in package source and it should be bmake, then it turns it into a bmake. which means this place knows when I'm doing a package source thing, which means I could have it tell me when it exits. So what's the logic? Yes, the logic looks like if there's a bmake and we're in package source, then use bmake. Otherwise, if there's a program called make, run that. Otherwise, run bmake and hope for the best. It may or may not be there, but we're not in package source. But I don't think this solves my problem exactly. I want. It's not like every single bmake failure that I want this to happen. It's package rolling replace specifically that starts up and takes a long time and then maybe stops. That's what I want to get notified about. That's easy enough to just wrap it with something. Does it have its own feature for this? Probably not. There's this keep going even when replacing a package fails. That is interesting. Okay. So that K option is interesting. I don't know if I actually want it, but it is interesting. Uh, but I guess I could replace my invocations. I could wrap package rolling replace with something that checks the exit code and, well, presumably it passes on the exit code. If that's true, then I could check the exit code and send a terminal beep or something. I don't know. Nothing quite obvious jumping out at me, so I'm gonna keep tapping around here, watching those things build. Yeah, the builds, the builds. This might be the most exciting stream you ever saw. This might actually be a good place to stop because I imagine that these things will be continuing for a while in much the same vein and for many more operating systems. So I think we could wrap it here. Let's recap what we saw, besides a lot of builds flying by while I don't talk. We are in my build farm, my package source build farm, which contains such members as these. We've been working on a few of them, just working our way down the list to update the operating system because it's been a while. Repair Ethernet networking because the host QEMU has been upgraded, is probably why. And then to update package source in a slightly less easy way than I usually would because we're navigating an OpenSSL major version bump. And that implicates the package tools. So I've been rebuilding the package tools without OpenSSL in order to do the rest of the updates, including OpenSSL. And then when those complete, I need to remember to rebuild OpenSSL or rebuild the package tools without special options, which will cause them to be relinked with the new OpenSSL as I had them before. And so this is kind of a manual process because things can break. I did discover a new option in package roll and replace, new to me. It's been there for a long time, lowercase k, which will attempt to continue when any particular make replace of a package fails. I will give that a shot because I have a lot more virtual machines to get through. I will give that a shot and see how that feels. I'm not sure that's for me, but I will try it. And I will continue to upgrade these operating systems. NetBSD 10 is still not quite released, but it's getting closer and closer. And probably for the next stream, we'll come back to either updating packages, because I have a lot of those left to do. I'm really behind on that. Discount, no, but highlight, yes. libofat, yes. Python approval utilities and approval tests, yes. And by then, maybe some other ones. So maybe for our next stream, we'll continue with package source, but with package updates instead of operating system updates. This looked like it went well. So I'm going to do a make replace. That was definitely it. For Alpine, in order to build OpenSSL, as their package explains, you need the Linux headers package installed. And that's all that package source needed. I didn't need to change anything in package source. I just needed to know that there was that dependency. Okay, so we'll wrap it up here. This is partway through navigating the OpenSSL 3 upgrade in my build farm. And thanks for watching. See you next time.